Hey, this is Brian Tarian from the Disability Digest, and in this video I'm going to go through some of the pros and cons of hiring an attorney or non-attorney disability representative, if you should get one or no you don't need one, and if you do get one, what are the top 6 things that you should be getting for your money, for your hard-earned money. So here at the Disability Digest, I've had the privilege of helping people get approved since 2006. I've learned a lot from conversations, and first of all, in my opinion, in many instances, you do not need a Social Security disability attorney. So I'm going to go through that. At the end, I'm going to give you some steps about what you can do to use a process that we have here called our Social Security Disability Approval Course that can help you get your benefits without paying the legal fees, or help you manage your Social Security disability attorney so they are doing what they should be doing. So stay tuned for that. So I'm in hopes that this will perhaps give you some confidence in a decision, help you make sure that you're making the right steps for you so you're not second guessing your disability approval strategy. And if you're already approved, there's information in this video that will help you in the unfortunate event that you go through a continuing disability review and you do need to get back into a situation of using a representative, right? So a few things in advance of this is one of the problems I've seen with disability applicants that has caused them to get denied, delay, not get their benefits is when they hire a Social Security disability representative. Now I'm going to use the word representative because there are people that do this work that are non-attorney representatives, and then there's attorney representatives, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But they hire somebody and they're like, oh, got an attorney working on it, no problem. But they really don't, most don't know what that attorney should be doing or what that attorney has done. So that causes problems. So this should help you understand what they should or could be doing to help you maximize your chances of winning. Next is the people that do this work are Social Security disability attorneys, and their criteria for doing this work is they simply need to pass the bar, and then they have the right to practice this area of law. Now, there's non-attorney representatives that do this work. Most of them go through a Social Security disability test and evaluation process. They get approved so that they can do this work and get paid directly from Social Security. It's a very in-depth process. I know it well because I've been through it, and you have to go through annual certification to make sure that you are familiar with all the regulation changes, whereas attorneys don't need to do that. They just need to pass the bar once. So yes, you do have an attorney. They're very effective at arguing in court, but there is an argument that could be built around the non-attorney representatives are held to a higher standard to do this work. So when looking at your evaluation process, it's something for you to take into consideration. And just because somebody's not an attorney doesn't mean they're not good at this. That's really the key thing. There's other videos and piles of other questions in this area that I'll address separately in another video. So again, regardless of who you choose, you want to make sure that they're doing the work for you. So this is my take on selecting representative. Again, it's not a one-size-fits-all. In my personal opinion, I think it's just tragic that this system is set up so that people actually have to hire somebody oftentimes to get approved. But I don't make the rules, I'm just the messenger. But if you're looking at applying for the very first time, this is an area, in my opinion, where you have an opportunity to do this on your own. And we've taught thousands to do it, save the legal fees here at the Disability Digest with our course. And you can go through, and if you do it right and are willing to invest the time and complete the steps properly, you can be effective in this area. But there's some things that you need to consider, like how much money are you really saving, right? Like if you know your disability check and you might have 10 months of back benefits, and maybe that's $15,000 at the time of your initial decision, and you would hire somebody to do all of the steps correctly for you, and you would pay 25% of that, right? Is it worth the 25% to maximize your chances of winning? Because think about it rolling forward. If you get denied, you're at, in most states except 10, there's the reconsideration appeal that very few people get approved at. And it's likely that a case like that is going to go to hearing. And at those higher levels, I've known 9 people since 2006 that I've met that have gone to court on their own. And out of those, 3 of them have been approved. So managing your case at the higher level in court is something that I really strongly ask that you take, some consideration to the odds. Many have gone to court with their case and they not represented, and the judges said, listen, would you like to reschedule? So something to consider. So if you look at it, okay, well, I'm going to maximize my chances. The national average at initial application is 37%, sorry, just released. And if somebody can put that up to 47 or 50, that's not 100. But then again, is that worth it? Now, that's the money part of it. There's some other things to consider. Some people are just not comfortable because of their condition and managing their own case, nor do they have a support system around them to manage their own case, because one of the challenges people face is Social Security's request for communication. When you start your application, there's a confirmation of your application. There's paperwork to fill out. You might need to go to a doctor. You might be called for different information. And oftentimes they'll pull a 10 days to respond. And if you don't respond within 10 days, then they can deny you. And they have denied people. So are you in a reliable enough health situation where you can respond and manage that? That's the question that you really need to ask yourself, because if you're not, then having some support with somebody that's got some skin in the game could help you. Keep in mind, with a disability representative, the fee structure is the same for all disability representatives. There's only one, which is if they win your case, Social Security will pay the representative 25% of your back benefits up to $6,000, right? If they don't win, they don't get paid. Now, some companies charge administrative fees and things for medical records. That's, that's outside of that. But the big chunk of money is based in that. So that's something to consider. Okay, so here are, if you're going to hire somebody, or if you have hired somebody, here are 6 things that, in my opinion, should be done and could be done, right? Easy collection of information. If you're at the initial application level, there's forms to fill out so that somebody can become your representative. They might mail them to you. You could do those via electronic signature. That's not that big of a deal. But what is the collection of information that Social Security requires for your application. And there's like 25 different categories of information. Some of the major ones are, what have you done for work for the last 15 years? Who have you seen for doctors, your first date, your last date of visit, your medications, who prescribed those, what do they prescribe for, backup contact, different types of income-related questions, children under 18, your bank account, backup contact, all of that information. And people really struggle with it. And if you do the application on your own and you miss some of the information or don't have all the information, that poses a problem. I've met an individual recently who just put in her information regarding her back, but she also had mental health conditions, but she didn't feel that they were that important. although they were marked moderate, which is not severe, but still it's pretty significant, she didn't put them in. So simple mistake like that. So easy collection of information is the first thing. If somebody can get on the phone with you, tell you what you need and collect it all, or you can collect all the information and put it into an online form for somebody, that's another easy way for you to get started in that process. The next is, in my opinion, if somebody's going to work on your case, they should clearly understand what your medical records communicate, because that's what Social Security is going to look at. They're going to go in and look at your medical records. They're going to see that you have a doctor that's treating you for conditions. You have limitations on those conditions. Those are the three fundamentals. So if somebody takes down your information and your doctors and your meds, and they're not looking at your medical records, how do they understand your case? You can tell them whatever you like, but it's not going to, is it consistent with your medical records? Don't know. So that's another key one. And once they do that, if they can take and develop like a case theory, they can explain to Social Security based on the actual evidence that Social Security is going to look at, which is your medical records, like what your conditions are, what your limitations are, how many days out of work you're going to be. So that's point number 2. 3 is getting written support from your doctors. This is another key thing. There's forms that Social Security has that we provide people access to in our disability approval course, and they're called residual functional capacity reports. Doctors fill them out, or we ask them to, and it confirms that you're being treated, what their opinion is on your limitations, bend, sit, stand, how many days a month they believe you'd be off task, and it really gives a solid opinion on where you're at and if you can work. It's super helpful to get approved. So that's the 3rd. There's forms that are sent from Social Security during the early stages of the application process that are critical. And if you just take a wild ass guess at these, it could really be detrimental to your case. So understanding how to answer questions about what you do on a daily basis, which is in one set of forms, and what your work history has been, the types of jobs and the physical demands of that, it's another set of forms, really should be reviewed by your representative, because if you end up going to court, then those questions are going to be asked again. And they'll go right back into, like, do you do housekeeping? Do you vacuum? Do you pay your bills? The same questions. So those should be reviewed so you're on the same page with your legal team. You've done it right. Okay. Additional evidence. In the early stages, there's the opportunity to submit additional evidence. There's several different categories, but a few brief ones are letters of reference from maybe somebody that you worked with, or friends of yours that maybe you used to socialize with and you're not able to anymore. Those are super helpful. And even video footage, if you're having a difficult time walking, or you're walking with a walker or a cane, something like that demonstrates that you have physical limitations is super helpful, with a short little video clip that your representative can upload to Social Security. That should be done. Next and last one, these are not all of them, these are just some of them, is you'll be sent for an independent medical exam. And what that examiner is doing is looking at your medical records, giving you a test, and reporting to Social Security their opinion if you qualify. You have the opportunity to control and influence this, and you should, because these are typically they could go bad. They could go the wrong way, and somebody in a 7 to 10 minute office visit could impact the entire course of your case if you allow it to. So you should definitely take control of that. So, a few other things to continue to consider is, is it worth it to increase your odds? If you're looking at you've been out of work for a while, maybe 8 or 10 months, and now you're applying, you can go back and recover some back benefits. So if you're looking at a situation like that, and maybe it's a little tricky as to pinning down when your disability actually started to preventing you from working, that's another reason, because you have a whole other bucket of money there that's on the table that you have to factor into this. And also, I've also learned that some people say, listen, I just want to focus on getting better. You know, you do whatever you can, as much as you can of this, and I just want to focus on getting better. Those are some of the things that I have learned from the process, the key things that I encourage you to make sure that your representative should be doing if you choose to hire one or have hired one. So next, to learn more at the Disability Digest, we offer a membership. It's no charge. Or if you're already a member and you're not using our course yet, then you can click the link below this video and you can either join us as a member or update us as a member. And when you fill out the evaluation questions, it will guide you through the process, and it will help us understand what part of the course you need and what's going to help you. Now, the disability approval course has been put together with others in the industry, like industry experts, 3 different Social Security attorneys, an ex-Social Security caseworker, and they provide the lessons, as well as some from us, that will bring you through what to say, what to do, what not to do as you go through the process. In addition, many of you out there have used our process to get approved and have reported back things that you've learned that have made a difference. Like Chris reported that you should have any walker or cane prescribed by your doctor, so it's in your medical records. Just simple things like that. Not simple, but very, very valuable tips. So again, I hope you find this helpful in going through and understanding the process and charting your course of action to get approved. Again, regardless of which way you do it, whether you want to do this on your own or use a representative, we encourage you to use our disability approval course, because it will help you understand the steps and what needs to be done so you can have control over it and manage the process. All right, make it a great day. Stay tuned for more. This has been Brian from the Disability Digest.